Hi, welcome to Kitchen Uncovered. I'm Chef Andrew Nicholson at the Culinary Institute of Canada. Today my guest chef is Chef Stephen Hunter. Welcome to the show, Stephen.
Thank you.
What are we doing today? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a graduate of the Culinary Institute a long time ago, 19 years ago actually, and I've cooked on PEI for the last 19 years. Love it. All the great local produce and seafood that is here. It's just amazing. Today we're going to cook one of those local seafoods is scallops. We're going to make several dishes, several different dishes with scallops. We're going to do a pan-seared scallop, and we're going to do a scallop ceviche, and we're going to do a little scallop brochettes.
Okay. That's great. Looking forward to that. You've also done a lot of work with local farmers and produce and stuff in your restaurant and stuff too, right?
Yes, yeah. I had owned a restaurant for 10 years, the Victoria Village Inn, and worked primarily with local producers. Was proud to say that about 90% of the things on my menu were locally grown and produced, and it's just fantastic. The summer here is amazing, the produce in the summer and the fresh seafood and fresh meat. It's wonderful.
And now you're here at the Culinary running the dining room.
Yes, I'm teaching second year a la carte at the Lucy Maud dining room.
Nice,
so, yeah,
nice.
It's fantastic.
All right, so scallops.
Scallops.
So any particular scallop? Are they certain out of a certain region or local island scallops?
If you see bay scallops in stores, avoid them because they tend to be small and they're not. They have a different flavor. So we want the nice large sea scallops. The smaller the number, when you look at a package of scallops, if it's 20, 30 count or 10, 20, the smaller the number, the larger the scallop.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's 10, 20 per pound is how they reference. Right?
That's right. That's what it's how many scallops per pound. It's the same thing with shrimp as well.
Okay. So that's good. That's a good little hint to know.
Yeah.
Okay. So where are we starting?
So we're going to start with we're going to make a little beurre blanc flavored with sun-dried tomatoes and chives, and then we're going to sear some scallops and then we're going to plate the scallops with the sun-dried tomato beurre blanc.
Okay. So what makes a beurre blanc a beurre blanc?
Lots of good butter for one thing.
Okay, lots of butter.
Lots of butter, a little bit of reduction. We're going to make wine and vinegar reduction in the pan.
Okay.
And that's going to give it some acidity. And then we're going to add some, we're going to make a compound butter for starters. This is a little different. A beurre blanc is essentially just straight butter, a nice little vinegar, wine reduction, and some shallots is basically it.
Okay.
We're going to make it a little differently. We're going to start with making a compound butter.
Okay.
Okay. So we're going to start with some butter. If you choose to use unsalted butter, you'd want to add a little salt at this time as well.
Okay. So you can use regular butter or unsalted. It's up to yourself. It's not going to make a difference.
No, it's just if you're using the regular butter, then you don't have to add salt.
Right.
If you're using unsalted butter, then you're probably going to want to add a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got the butter in there. We're going to add some sun-dried tomatoes. Now these sun-dried tomatoes are softened.
Yeah.
I've softened them in some water, warm
water, cold water overnight. Anything
and then
particular?
we're just gonna dice them. Just warm water. It doesn't have to be overnight. They're gonna soften up in about half an hour.
Okay.
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 If you I avoid the oil packed ones. Sometimes you can buy them and they're packed in oil.
Yeah.
And we're gonna avoid those because we're gonna have butter in here anyway. Okay. So we're gonna add some sun-dried tomatoes to that.
Okay.
We've got a little more here chopped up. We'll add that as well.
And what is a compound butter exactly for those of us that don't know?
Compound butter is just basically a butter with different flavorings added. It can be shallots, herbs, a little lemon zest, whatever you want. So you can really kind of make your own type of compound butter. You know, it's one of those things when you're cooking, you always like to make some things that are your
garlic
own.
butter would.
Garlic butter is a compound butter.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Just anything like that.
Yeah, anything like that. Even just a little bit of garlic and chopped parsley. A lot of people have done that.
Okay.
So we've got some chives in there. We just added some chives, sun-dried tomatoes, and the butter. And
we're just whip that up.
We're just going to.
And we're using regular butter, so we don't need to add extra salt.
We're not going to add any salt. At this time, I will add a little pepper, though.
Okay.
I do like a little pepper in there.
Okay.
Okay. So we're just going to give that a quick mixing.
Yep.
And you can see it comes together fairly rapidly.
Okay.
One thing is you want to have your butter softened at room temperature. If your butter's hard right out of the fridge, then it's going to take a while for it
so you want to leave it out of the fridge for a little bit just to soften up so it's pliable.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So then we got some saran wrap.
We've got some cling wrap. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make a little log of this butter, and this is commonly done with compound butters. It's a great way to store them. You can make a compound butter and then hold it in your refrigerator for a week. It'll also hold in your freezer for a long time.
Okay, so you can do it ahead of time, and then you can just take it out as you needed it.
Absolutely. You can make a compound butter like this, and then put it in your freezer and just take it out and cut coins off as you need them.
Yeah,
okay?
and we didn't whip that very long and with the paddle attachment, but how long would you mix it for? Just till it's all...
Just till it's all combined, and you know, you want a fairly homogeneous mixture. So,
Okay, so
you
well,
want
well
everything
blended and...
well blended. So we're just gonna, you can see our butter
Hold that.
is nicely mixed. Okay, so we're just gonna put that out on the cling wrap.
And we're just going to form this into a log so it firms up, and then it gives us something to work with.
That's right.
Okay.
Just set that over there.
Maybe another... Lots of spatulas for this one.
Lots of spatulas. That's right. Okay, so
take
once
those.
we've got it in the cling wrap, we're just gonna fold it over and form
And just form a...
a log with it. Okay.
Okay.
And
If this was pliable, you could use a piping bag, but you get a little bit more consistency on the shape if you use the saran
That's
wrap
right,
rather
you get
than piping it out.
you get a nice consistency on the shape. And the way you get a consistency on the shape is once you get it in a log, you squeeze it out a little bit. Okay. Then you
Pinch
twist
the
the
ends.
ends, twist the ends up, and keep twisting them, and then you roll it on your cutting board a little
Okay,
bit.
and that just kind of
And that
forms and
just
knocks it.
evens it all out, and then you can roll it to tighten the ends in one direction, and that's going to give you a nice uniform log. Now, what you can do at this point in time, is you can just tie your ends.
Right.
Okay.
And that'll keep it nice and
And
tight.
that'll keep it nice and tight and secure, so it's not going to come unwrapped.
Okay.
All right.
And about a week in the refrigerator, or you could.
Or you can put it in the freezer, and
freezer?
it'll keep for
Okay.
4 or 5 months.
Right.
I don't really like freezing anything for any great length of time, but certainly, I mean, you could do 4 or 5 of those.
Okay.
And then put them in your freezer, and anytime you need a little flavored butter, you can pull it out and use it. Okay.
Okay, great.
So it's a nice little trick to have.
Okay. So we've got the sun-dried tomato compound butter
So what we're going to do now is we would chill this now to make our sauce.
to firm it up.
To firm it up.
Okay.
It's important when you're making a beurre blanc that the butter is chilled, thoroughly chilled.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're just gonna take a quick little break. Don't go away. We're gonna take the compound butter and make a beurre blanc. So when we come right back, we'll be with Chef Stephen Hunter. Cool.
Great.
All right. Welcome back to Kitchen Uncovered. I'm Chef Andrew Nicholson at the Culinary Institute of Canada. Today I'm here with Chef Stephen Hunter. Today we're doing scallops, sea scallops to be exact. And so far we've done the smoked tomato, sun-dried tomato compound butter. And the compound butter is basically any ingredients you want to mix with the butter.
That's right.
We've rolled that into a log and we've got that setting in the fridge. And then we're going into the beurre blanc now, right?
Yeah, that's right. We're going to make a sauce with the compound butter.
Okay.
Okay. So we're going to start with a little bit of the compound butter. We've got
Okay.
well, you don't want too much heat here, just a medium heat, because you don't want to scorch the butter and have it brown. Okay?
Right, you want a nice, just melted and bubbly.
Just melted and bubbly.
Okay.
And we're going to add some shallots to that. Okay, so shallots, beautiful, much finer than onions, sweeter, better ingredient for a fine sauce like this for flavor. Okay.
So you could use onions if you
If you
didn't
don't-
have them
if you
on
don't have
hand
any
or something.
shallots,
You could use onions, but,
Absolutely.
but preferably we like the shallots. Yeah.
Red onion would be my next choice.
Okay.
And then like a sweet white onion.
Okay.
After that.
Right.
Okay. So we're gonna add the shallots.
Okay. So we're just melting the butter in the warm pan. We're not going to try to scorch it or brown it anyway.
No.
And we just want to sweat off the shallots as well. We don't want to get any color or caramelize those
That's
at all
right.
either, right?
That's right. Because we're not. We don't want anything toasted or burnt. We want to keep everything nice and light.
Okay. Very
Okay.
good. Yeah.
So we're just gonna sweat melt that butter and sweat the shallots for a couple of minutes. Okay.
Just till they're translucent.
Just until they're translucent and nice and glossy. Okay. And and you're releasing the flavor. At this point in time, I like to add a little pinch of salt too.
Okay.
Because it brings out some of the liquid out of the shallots.
Yeah, so if
Okay.
you're using unsalted butter or regular butter, you'd still add a little bit of
A
salt.
little bit of salt, okay? You have to be careful with the salted butter in that the salt is in there, so
Yep.
you don't want to add too much, but just a little tiny pinch of salt to bring out some of the liquid out of the shallots. Now, we're good there. We're going to add a little bit of white wine.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
And we're going to add a little bit of white wine vinegar. Now, the vinegar just gives that a nice acidity. Okay.
Okay, just a little bit. So what's the ratio about of white wine
Well,
to vinegar?
we've got about 4 parts white wine, 1 part vinegar.
Okay.
Okay.
So no garlic in this recipe just yet, or?
No garlic in this recipe at all. Actually, there's lots of flavor in the shallots and the sun-dried
Okay.
tomatoes where all
Yeah,
the,
that's
all
where
the
all your
flavor
flavor's
comes
coming
from. Okay.
Okay.
So at this point in time, we're going to bring your heat up high, and this is what's called a reduction.
Okay, so we're going to reduce this down.
We're going to reduce this down until it's, we're going to reduce it by about 3/4.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
So we started with, about a half a cup of wine and a tablespoon of vinegar.
Okay.
We're going to reduce that down until we've got about maybe
less than a quarter
little
cup.
less than a quarter of a cup.
Okay.
Okay.
So basically we're just reducing the flavors, concentrating, and get a little bit more consistency in
That's right.
everything.
Now,
Okay?
what we're going to do next is we're going to whip in some butter, and we're going to use the same compound butter that we've made.
Okay. After it sets in the fridge, it firms up a little bit.
Yeah, and make sure it's nice and cold. This is the mistake a lot of people make, is the butter's a little soft, maybe room temperature.
Okay.
And what happens when you start to whip that in is it melts too quickly.
Okay.
And basically you end up with a reduction in melted butter.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Which
Which is why it would become a little bit oily sometimes.
That's right. It splits, what we
Right,
call it
yeah,
splits.
yeah.
It separates, okay?
Okay.
So what we're really after is we want to make a nice homogeneous sauce.
Okay.
A nice smooth sauce
Yeah.
that holds an edge on the plate well. Okay? So to do that, we're going to start whisking in the butter now. I'm just going to get you to
Okay,
pass
so
me
after
the
we
butter.
reduce this down, we're going to take the butter and then we're
Yep.
going to... Okay. I'll add the butter because you don't have...
That's right. Sometimes you need a little help in the kitchen.
All right.
Okay.
So just
we're
one at a
gonna-
time?
We're going to add, I'm going to add, I would say 4 or 5 pieces right off the bat. And what
Okay.
this does is it drops the temperature of your sauce right away.
Okay.
You don't want your liquid too hot, so we're going to whisk that in and add some more. As soon as it's about half melted, I like to add a little more.
Okay.
Keep adding it, a little more.
A little more at a time,
Yeah.
just kind of keep at a steady pace.
Just keep at a steady pace. Now we'll stop there.
Okay.
Let some of that melt and just whisk that.
So you're trying to aerate it all together so that it becomes
That's right.
a nice, consistent sauce.
We're just making.
We're not
this-
making gravy, we're just making...
We just want a nice
Making a
sauce.
butter
here.
sauce.
Right. And
You
what
can see it's starting to thicken up there a little bit
it's
too
starting
now.
to thicken because the temperature, adding the cold butter is dropping the temperature in the pan, right?
Right.
So it's melting, but it's melting more slowly. We can add a little bit more now.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you can see it's starting to thicken up a little bit. It smells great.
Gets nice and glossy and
Yeah. Okay,
okay, a little more.
a little bit more.
Yeah. And we'll just go with that for now. I'll finish whisking this in. This is, cooking very often is one of those things that you have to have a little feel for it.
Right,
You
yeah.
use your eyeballs,
kinda-
you use your nose, you use your sense of touch, you
Okay.
use your sense of taste. you
So
use
approximately
everything.
how much of the compound butter would we need to do this sauce, approximately, if we were kind of getting set up to do it?
Well, I mean, if you're cooking, I would say about half the compound butter would be enough for 3 or 4 people.
Okay.
So you're going to have a little bit of the
about a
compound
quarter.
butter left over. You just keep that in the
keep it in
fridge.
the
and
fridge
you
or
can-
freezer and you
you
can
can
use it
throw
for-
it in with. You can do nice steamed asparagus and throw it on steamed
you go.
asparagus. You can.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you see we've got that nice
Yeah.
smooth sauce. Okay.
Nice consistency.
Nice consistency. I'm going to get you to add one more piece.
Okay,
Because I just want one.
just to bring it
One
up a
more
little bit.
just to thicken it up just a little bit.
Okay.
And then what we'll do is we'll put it in a
Bowl?
glass bowl right here. I've got one right
Oh,
here.
you got one?
Yeah.
Good. Sharp. Okay.
Okay. Now there's a beautiful butter sauce that we're gonna sear some scallops and we're gonna use that sauce to go under the
Okay.
scallops.
And once we get the butter into it, we can't boil it, right? We have to.
No, once we just want to put it someplace warm. You don't want it anywhere too close to heat,
Right.
But you don't want it to get cold. If it gets cold, it's going to
Firm up,
solidify,
okay?
right?
Because it is solid butter.
That's right. So
Okay.
we'll just set that aside. Now we're going to sear some scallops. We may as well make another sauce.
Okay.
We'll get a couple of pans on because we want to make sure our pans are nice and hot for the seared scallops.
Okay.
Okay.
So
You're the
going.
master of the stoves there.
Well, some days. Some days it works out. All right, so we're going to
All right.
make a little Asian
Yeah,
sauce.
I'm going to
for
start
this.
with a little bit of oil because I always like to.
Okay.
Now, when searing scallops, you don't necessarily want to use extra virgin olive oil because it has too much flavor. You want to use a nice neutral oil.
Because you need really high heat, and
You want
you're not
high
going to
heat,
taste the
so
olive oil anyway.
Clarified butter is not really going to do it either.
Okay.
Okay, so now we've got all our ingredients here for a nice little Asian sauce we're going to do.
Okay.
This is kind of a dipping sauce that we're going to have.
Okay. Okay. Whisk.
So we're going to start with a little bit of honey.
Okay.
It's sweet. Quite often these Asian sauces are a sweet and sour kind of sauce,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So the honey is our sweet.
So about how much honey are we using?
I think that's about a quarter cup to a half cup of honey. Okay. We're going to add a little bit of fresh chopped ginger.
Okay.
All right. Now, a lot of sorry, what's that?
No, just going to give a little bit of heat with the ginger, but
Yeah. Now, a lot of people say, "Oh, can I use dry powdered ginger?"
Yeah.
And the answer is no.
okay. Fresh ginger.
Use fresh ginger.
Okay, very good.
All right. We're going to use a bit of Thai chili sauce, and that is, that's just a store bought at the Asian market or
Okay.
at the local grocery store. They often have that.
Okay.
A little soy sauce. Okay. A little soy.
Yeah.
And we're going to use a little bit of
Sesame?
orange zest
Orange
here.
zest, okay.
Yeah. That's going to give it a nice little orange flavor.
Yeah.
All right.
So no cooking in this recipe, just the ingredients whisked together.
We're just whisking our ingredients together here.
Okay.
And you can make this sauce up a bit ahead of time too, because what's going to happen is the flavors are going to blend as the
together.
sauce sits.
Okay.
So certainly something can be done up ahead of time.
Okay, so we're going to mix those together. The pans are getting nice and hot for searing.
Yep.
We're going to let this marinate, the flavors blend a little bit, and then when we come right back, we're going to do pan-seared scallop. And I think we said a little bit of ceviche or something, did we?
Yeah,
Put it in?
we're going to do a little ceviche
Okay,
as well.
so don't go away, we'll be right back. Welcome back to Kitchen Uncovered. I'm Chef Andrew Nicholson at the Culinary Institute of Canada. Today I'm with Chef Stephen Hunter. Today we're doing scallops, and we've done a sun-dried tomato beurre blanc, and we've got an Asian-style sauce. And the Asian-style sauce, Stephen, was a
We've got it's a sweet and sour sauce. So there's honey. There's we did right at the end before we left last time. There was a little bit of rice wine vinegar, unseasoned rice wine vinegar.
Yep.
I added, ginger, a little bit of Thai chili sauce. So it's kind of like a sweet and sour,
Okay.
basically.
Okay, and
Yeah.
we just give that some time just for the flavors to meld together.
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then we got the pans going hot here, so we're
Yeah.
going to do
We're
quick
gonna
little
sear-
pan sear.
We're going to sear some scallops, okay?
Okay.
I've got two pans here. One has a little sesame oil in it for the
Okay.
Asian ones, just to
Right.
give it that flavor.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to make sure that the scallops are really dry. That's
Okay.
essential, and seasoned. So we'll put them out. I've got some here that you can see that side muscle, and we're going to make sure that that comes off.
Okay,
That
because
side-
that's the muscle that holds the shell together, so that
Right.
gets a good workout and it gets fairly
Yep.
tough when we cook it.
It's an abductor muscle, a side muscle it's called, chefs call it, and it's chewy. So
Okay.
that always comes off. Some people like to throw it in their chowder. I
Yeah.
don't, because I find it's just a chewy little rubber band in the chowder. So,
Okay.
so we'll just go with that.
So the secret to searing the scallops is drying off the excess water so they don't
Yep.
spatter on us too much.
Make sure they're
Right.
nice and dry.
And does
bit of-
room temperature mean anything, or not right out of the fridge, so that
Not
they're
right
a little
out
bit
of the
relaxed?
fridge is good, always good. And
a nice hot pan.
We're going to season with a little salt and pepper.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're just using paper towel here to dry off the
Yeah.
excess water, and then
Yeah,
we're
just
seasoning
a
it.
little paper towel is all
Yeah,
you need.
just a nice sprinkle of the salt and pepper just for seasoning.
always
Pans
season.
are starting to smoke. Is that a good sign?
You want you got unplug the smoke detector for now, and remember to put the battery back in it when you're finished. Okay.
Right.
So our pans are nice and hot. We're going to sear the scallops.
Okay, so nice hot pan is the secret here, right?
Yes.
And we dried them on paper towel.
Yep.
And
they're
we
nice
don't want to
and
have.
dry.
Okay.
And we don't want to overcook them because they'll be rubbery and tough, and you'll be able to bounce them off the floor.
Okay.
if
So
they're overcooked.
what's the best way of controlling that? Overcooking your scallops.
Just cooking time, basically high heat. That's why we're doing a very high heat in a short period of cooking time.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's why we need the pan hot and smoky, and we take the batteries out of our
Good and hot.
detectors.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take that.
Okay. So as soon as we get a nice sear on here, we're going to flip them.
Okay.
Okay. Couple of more seconds.
So just
you want
just
some
wait.
nice color.
Just wait till they start to caramelize on the bottom corners. Is kind of what you're looking for.
Yeah, you want some nice color there.
Yeah.
On your scallops. You can see that. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay.
A nice sear on the top side, so we
Now
don't.
once I've got them turned off, I'm going to shut them right down. All right.
Okay.
And this again keeps them from overcooking. The bottom side can toast a little bit.
Yeah.
We're not rolling them around. We're just searing them top and bottom. And that really looks nice when you plate it.
Okay, so you have a really nice color there, and then the heat of the pan will cook them through.
Yeah, they're cooking right now. Now everything's off here.
Okay.
We're going to go to the ceviche that we were talking about earlier.
Okay.
This is just basically a quartered scallop. Okay. We've taken the scallops, cut them up a bit.
Okay.
And we're going to cook the scallops in citrus juice, in lemon and lime juice.
Okay, so no
And
heat.
No heat
No
at
heat
all.
cooking. We're just going to cook the acidity
But-
of the
but-
lemon and lime.
But the scallop has the texture of a cooked scallop.
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome.
So what we're going to start with is we're going to start with some diced red onion.
Okay. So red onion. You could use shallots in this recipe as well.
Yes, you
You
could.
had some, but red
you
onion.
could, but red onion. This is a classic South American dish.
Okay.
So we got to put in lots of cilantro.
Okay, right on. Yeah.
We've got a little bit of jalapeno peppers here
Okay.
as well. We're going to put those in for a little bit of heat.
Yeah.
Okay. We've got
Lime juice.
some lime juice, very important. Okay.
And we also have some lemon juice.
And some lemon juice. Now this is the acidity that's going to actually cook the scallops.
Okay.
Okay, maybe some people have had fish like halibut ceviche or perch ceviche.
Okay.
It's very similar,
So
same
wherever they
idea.
say ceviche, it's technically the marinating and the acidity that's cooking it, not necessarily a heat source.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Good.
And we're basically doing a marinade. We're going to add some, this is diced tomato.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some color.
Seeds are out.
So how long would you let this sit and marinate for, Stephen?
Now we want to let this marinate overnight. Okay.
Overnight?
Yeah, ideally overnight for best flavor. Minimum 3 or 4 hours for these acid to cook the scallops.
Okay.
Overnight is the best for flavor.
Okay. Any salt or pepper in there, or just adjust that
we
later?
are going to add a little bit of pepper, and we are going to add a little bit of salt.
Okay.
Okay.
And
And
then
then
we
you
just-
can adjust it later as well. So we're
Okay,
going to
so we're
set
just
that
gonna set
aside.
that
You want to
aside.
cover that with a tight lid and put it in your refrigerator overnight.
Okay.
Okay, our scallops are beautifully cooked. Again, they're just opaque in the center, not
Okay.
overcooked.
And we have some ceviche that we had marinating overnight, which
This
is ready
all
to
done
go.
up. I think
Yeah.
we're ready to plate, Andrew.
Okay.
I'm going to go to the sink, wash my hands, and if you want to set up the plates for me,
Sure. Absolutely.
I'll be right back.
Okay. It's just very important to remember that whenever you're working with raw fish or pork or chicken, that you do wash your hands before plating the cooked stuff. We like to use tongs and stuff in the kitchen, but it's nice to have the extra precautions taken care of as well. So the scallops are cooking. Steve's
Okay.
coming back.
Now
And
we're all set. First thing we're going to do is get our sauces. Okay.
okay, so the beurre blanc, the sun-dried tomato beurre blanc that we made.
Sun-dried tomato beurre
You wanna
blanc.
put
Just
that-
going to set that over there.
Sure, yep.
Okay. We're just going to do. You can see the consistency of that. It's beautiful. Okay, so we're just going to do a nice little.
It's almost like melted butter, but
It's a little thicker than melted butter.
yeah.
It's like partially melted butter. Okay. And now I'm going to get a clean set of tongs.
Okay.
I'm just going to plate one scallop on each little pool
Right on.
of the beurre blanc. Okay. And I want to put a little bit of garnish
chive?
on that, right? We've got a little chive in the beurre blanc, so I'm going
Mm-hmm.
to put a little chive
Beautiful.
as the garnish. All right.
Okay.
Good. Now our next one is our Asian scallops.
Asian scallops.
What we're going to do with those is I'm going to just put them on a skewer like that, okay? I'm just gonna,
Okay, like a kebab.
like a kebab, okay? We can put that on there. We'll grab one more stick, and we'll do
Couple
these
extra.
ones, a couple extra here. We've got 3,
Smells awesome.
so we're gonna put those in there. And then we're gonna take our sauce. This is our dipping sauce. Thank you.
Just on the side.
We're just going to put in a little ramekin on the side, okay?
Okay.
So that's a really nice appetizer.
Okay.
Now our ceviche is very attractive, so we want to have it. It's got lots of color. We want to have it in a nice clear glass.
Okay, nice and hot, nice and high, so you can see all the textures.
Nice and
stuff.
high, so you can see everything. This is the
Give it a
cooked
moment
one.
to get set.
Okay. See if I can do this without getting it on the plate.
That's the tricky part, right?
Yeah, so any kind of, this is just a small champagne flute. That works quite nicely.
Yeah.
Okay. You can see how nice that looks. We're going to put a little bit of cilantro.
Cilantro
There's
on top.
cilantro in the mix. We're going to put that in there. We're going to garnish this one with a little bit of mint over here. Okay.
Beautiful.
And with the ceviche, we want to have something crispy because you're going to take that out and you're going to put it on a
On a
put it on
crostini or something like-
crostini or a little cracker. We've
Okay.
got a little bit of French
That'll
bread
give it a little
crostini
texture
here,
to the dish as well.
and that gives you a little crunch.
Beautiful.
And there's our
Very
plates.
nice. So 3 ways of doing fresh scallops. And from local PEI, thank you, Chef Stephen, for joining us.
You're welcome.
And thank you for joining
It's
us.
a pleasure to be here.
KitchenUncovered.com. Check out our website and hope to join you next time. I'm Chef Andrew Nicholson at the Culinary Institute of Canada.